This week, we talk about some of the fun stuff from the world of Funko Pops. We talk about that really cool leaked Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. We talk about some new information from the new HBO Harry Potter series, and a whole lot more. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse. Warning.
Red alert.
Ay, 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 ay!
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
That's the emergency alert.
This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse podcast. I'm Billy Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Oxner.
And we're back to talk about all the fun stuff happening out there in the pop culture universe. But before we jump into all that, Taylor, what have you been nerding out about this week, man?
This week, I got to go to the Nelson Atkins Museum in
Nice.
Kansas City. It's the art museum there, and I get to go to the Block Building, which is like their modern art museum. And it was just really cool. We got to take the kid, and we bought him a Bluey camera off Amazon. And, like, put an SD card in and everything, like something like our dads would have paid like $500 for in the
Right.
90s.
Yep.
And it's like 1080p. Like it looks like garbage, but like it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
We got to see like what it looked like through him and things like that. And we also went to Winstead's, and if you're not from Kansas City, Winstead's is a pretty famous chain in Kansas City, I would say.
Yeah.
Steak burgers, and then they have these like skyscraper shakes that are like really tall shakes, like stupid tall. It takes
Yeah.
like 3 people to finish it. So yeah, I had a steak burger, cheeseburger with an egg on it, and it was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I'm kind of having two nerding outs this week. So I can't remember if I've asked you this. Have you guys watched Ted Lasso?
Lauren has, but I have not.
We are late to the game because season 4 starts soon. But after, a ton of friends and family suggesting watching it, even if you're not a person that's necessarily into sports, they're like, the show is just so good. And I have to say that we started watching it maybe 2 weeks ago, and we're almost done with season 3. It is so good. It is, I can't even explain how good it is. It's so heartwarming, heartbreaking at times. It's hilarious. Definitely R-rated with the language and stuff, but so good. I cannot recommend enough for anyone out there to watch it. And as you all know, both of us collect Funko Pops, and so of course I'm like, okay, now this new obsession, I gotta find a Ted Lasso Funko Pop. So I found a couple of those, and that was kind of fun to get. And this past weekend was Labor Day weekend, and a lot of shops, have sales and stuff going on, and the local vintage stock stores had 33% off their used collectibles. And I went in there, and it's funny because I made the comment, man, someone just unloaded their entire collection. And the guy was like, actually, someone did this morning. Look at the sticker. And the sale date on the sticker was that same morning. But I got something like, let's see, 12 My Hero Academia Funko Pops. They were labeled $4, and then I got 33% more off. So it costs nothing hardly to get all these Funkos, and I'm just like having a Funko nerding out kind of a week from it.
Well, right on.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a few. If you have the Funko app, you can catalog your Funkos and make a wish list and all kinds of stuff. And I had tons on the wish list. And it's funny what the app values them at. And I ran into all these, $4 plus 1/3 more off. So they were, 2 something pretty much for these Funko Pops, still in the box, good condition. And the apps, I don't buy these things for their value, but it's cool to look at, and it's like, man, some of these are worth way more than what I just paid for them.
That's cool.
But yeah, just Ted Lasso and Funkos. I've been having a good week with that stuff. Oh,
Good. That sounds awesome.
speaking of Funkos, I forgot. I'm not much of a video game player unless it's Legend of Zelda. But a little while back, this game called Funko Fusion came out. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
I've seen it only on PlayStation, Xbox, and all these other bigger platforms, but they finally put it on Switch on, I think, August 26th or 27th, something like that. And not only that, for some reason, it was a way cheaper price for a Switch game. And because it's so late in the game, the Switch version came with every DLC that's available. And it was only 40 bucks. So I'm like, man, I am obsessed with Funkos. Let's try this out. And I've only had it for a couple of days, but I've played a few levels and you get to be so many different characters and you get to go throughout their worlds from a Funko looking version of their worlds and you just solve puzzles and fight bad guys and it's super cool. But imagine, you might be Michael Scott fighting villains from Eternia in He-Man's world.
All
It's
right on.
so crazy. It reminds me of that Lego Dimensions game where you have all the
Hmm.
different Lego characters combining. Now, there's not a real world aspect. Like with that game, you bought Legos and put them in the game. In this game, you just achieve Funkos or get the DLCs if you have a version that didn't come with them. And yeah, it's been a fun Funko nerding out week.
Well, awesome. Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe, Switch games are kind of expensive. It's like 60 bucks plus, and it was only 39 bucks. And so far it's been good for that value for sure.
Right on.
Well, let's jump into some news. Over with Marvel, there's a lot of rumors floating around, the closer we get to Doomsday and Secret Wars and all that stuff. And it's funny, one of the last things we talked about was it sounds like Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. was having a big argument, fight, whatever you want to call it, behind the scenes. And then since that rumor came out, those two guys actually came out saying, no, we're not. So it's just funny how rumors about a lot of things spread. But I just wanted to
Yeah.
bring up that they weren't, apparently, according to them, they weren't clashing behind the scenes. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Speaking of Doomsday, there's been a leaked article about what they believe the mission of Doctor Doom in this movie is going to be, and I'll just kind of read it to you guys. It says Doctor Doom's mission in the upcoming Avengers movies has supposedly leaked. It says that in the incursions that were created, aka the multiverse being created, when Steve went back in time to stay with Peggy after returning all the Infinity Stones, it sounds like these incursions led to an existence where Doctor Doom's family, his entire family, was just obliterated. So Doom has somehow found out that Steve, going through the multiverse, caused this, and he is now going from multiverse to multiverse, killing Steve Rogers' until he gets to finally the one that actually he believes caused it all. And, take it with a grain of salt. This is from the rumor mill, but what an interesting thought.
I think that's a pretty interesting plot to make that version of, well, Iron Man, I guess. Is he Iron Man?
Well, I think he's technically Doom. He is Victor Von Doom from a specific universe.
So if he's Victor Von Doom, is he a hero in that universe and then in other ones, and Steve is the villain?
I don't know.
Or is he also a villain in that universe? Because what I'm trying to figure out is Victor Von Doom, is he the Doctor Doom persona before or after?
Yeah, that's a good point. Does this drive him to become what we know of as Doom?
And then does that change his dynamic with the Fantastic Four completely?
Yeah. Kind of paired along with that rumor, there was a couple more things. There's another rumor that Chris Evans will be playing at least 4 roles in this movie, which, if that first rumor's true, that makes perfect sense. If we're going to see him traveling the multiverse, killing Steve Rogers variants until he gets to the main one.
Yeah.
And then the other rumor is this movie's going to pick up with Steve going back to put all the stones back and then living out his life with Peggy. So that'll be kind of cool. The article I read said there was a time when there was going to be a mini series on Disney Plus of him doing that, putting all the stones back, but they never got around to it and scrapped that. So this movie is going to kind of, in a TLDR recapped version, show a little bit of that. And this movie will kind of begin with where he, went back in time and did that whole thing. And we're going to see
Yeah.
him living his life with Peggy, and we might even see them have kids and all kinds of stuff. So I didn't realize, if all this is even true, how Captain America heavy the story is going to be.
Yeah, well, there's that aspect of it, which makes sense because the Russo brothers and like that's how
That's
they
true,
started
yeah.
everything is Captain America. So maybe that's the way they want to end it. I also have a hard time believing that they're not going to have the Reed Richards Victor Von Doom arch rivalry,
Yeah.
right?
That would be weird to not do that.
I feel like that's one of the backbones of the Marvel universes. Is that like I feel like that rivalry is it's like Superman and Lex Luthor,
Yeah.
or like Spider-Man and Green Goblin.
And maybe if it doesn't start that way, something that reboots the whole universe, develops that relationship, like in this new soft rebooted stuff we're going to get after these movies.
Yeah,
Who knows? It also sounds like Tom Hiddleston just filmed his scenes that are going to show up in this movie. And one of those scenes is him in Steve and Peggy's living room. And we all know where Loki left off last time we saw him in his series. So for something big enough to get him up off of that seat there at the end of the universe where he's protecting all the timelines, it's got to be big.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, the last thing with Marvel this week, we know that we've got Doomsday coming, and then a couple of years later, we have Secret Wars coming. Well, right now, it sounds like there's a possible third Avengers movie that comes between those two movies, which makes me wonder, are they just trying to hold something off from us? Or after they started filming, did this movie become so big that they're going to have to split it into two, like Endgame and Infinity War was?
What could that movie be?
Yeah. My first thought was, if that's the case, I'll bet you Secret Wars is just too big to contain in a 2.5 hour movie. But then again, maybe it is some supplemental thing that they're, keeping secret until we know about it.
Yeah, I guess maybe they have a whole movie that introduces the Beyonder.
That would be so cool.
Well, I mean, or Molecule Man.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because by the time we get to Secret Wars, it'll be interesting to see if they do pull in those characters that were kind of pivotal in the books.
Yeah, or Molecule Man. Maybe they're going to introduce some characters from other universes.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe this is how we'll see more X-Men stuff before we get to the Secret Wars stuff, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that could very well be it. They could need to flesh that out a lot more.
Yep.
Or maybe it's they didn't do enough after some of the movies to bring it to a certain point they needed it to, and maybe they just need another movie to bring everybody together for a reason, other than just like a couple sentences.
Yeah. Man, we're still about a year and a few months off, and I'm getting antsy. They're really good at growing this anticipation for stuff that they create.
How far are we from the Spider-Man movie? Is Doomsday supposed to come out before the Spider-Man or after? I thought it was after.
Okay, so Spider-Man comes out in July of 2026, and then Doomsday comes out in December of 2026. So Spider-Man's first,
Okay.
and then the following year, it'll be actually, I believe, Secret Wars is 2 years later.
And then when do we get Daredevil Born Again?
According to the internet that I'm reading right now, Secret Wars is only 1 year later, so it'll be kind of like an Infinity War Endgame situation. And then to your
Okay.
question about Daredevil,
Is it March?
it's looking like, yeah, March 2026. So it'll go Daredevil, Spider-Man, Doomsday, and then a year later Secret Wars with whatever else they got in between all that stuff.
Yeah, which who knows?
Yeah.
It could be a Young Avengers movie.
It's
I very well could be not an Avengers movie, but a Young Avengers movie.
which is funny because this wasn't even in my notes, but as I scroll and read stuff, Haley Steinfeld, who plays, the young new female Hawkeye, was asked, "Oh, when are we going to see you next? Will it be in this Avengers movie or will it be its own thing?" And she's like, what a specific question that I'm not going to answer. And everyone laughed. So what you just said could be the truth.
I mean, I guess what I just said before, maybe they need a movie to bring everything together. They need a movie to bring all the kids together.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
And they've already said there's going to be a Young Avengers team, right? Involved.
Yeah, and I think they're calling it the New Champions or something like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Not the Young Avengers is going to be a champion. I guarantee there's going to be a Champions movie.
That would be cool. And I hope,
Or at least a very heavy with a lot of them in it. Because it's how else are she going to go to every single one of these? Or she already did that? Or, you know what I mean? We don't know yet.
yeah, and maybe they don't even necessarily have to show her going to all of them. We could just assume it's happened behind the scenes and then
Yeah.
see them together. Yeah, that'd be so cool. Well, over with DC, it sounds like after seeing a couple of actors at a convention, it was George Newbern who does animated Superman and the actor who does animated Green Lantern. Well, they were asked all kinds of questions like, "Oh, will you ever be at the Superman voice again? Will you be returning to that role?" And it sounds like there's an Injustice 3 game coming that he's going to be voicing Superman again. So I don't know if he was supposed to announce it that way, but it was like, whoops, it's cat's out of the
I'm
bag.
fairly certain it got announced a while ago, but like really nothing's come out of it. Like they said it got greenlit, but not announced.
Gotcha.
So
Are you a
I
fan
don't
of that
think he let.
game?
Yeah, I am. They're fun. If you like Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
you'll like that. Not necessarily if you like Street Fighter, but if you like Mortal Kombat, you'll like this.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The game came before the comic books, right?
Yes.
I've only played the game, I think, with you a few years ago. I've played a little bit of the game. Other than that, I haven't really played it, but I went through and read every single Injustice comic book, and they're so good.
See, I didn't like them when I read them. I thought they were just too dark and edgy.
I think at the time, dark and edgy wasn't what everything was trying to be. You know what I'm saying? There was a
Yeah.
time when everything was trying to be dark and edgy, and at this point, that's why I think Superman, the new movie, went over so well because it went back to Superman's roots of being this kind Boy Scout, you know?
Yeah.
But at the time, I will say I read just every Injustice comic, and I really liked the story. And then I like how it ended. And somewhere in the middle, there was the story of, oh, I can't even remember exactly what it was, but somewhere in the middle of that story, when Bruce killed the Joker so that it wouldn't taint Superman, Superman wouldn't change. And it was all one of those dream stories. And Clark literally busted through the jail and hugged Bruce and said, "If you want out, if you need anything, it's yours." And it was all a dream. And then you fast forward to the end, and everyone finally is able to save the world from this tyrant Superman with a variant Superman from somewhere else in the multiverse. And anyway, I loved that story so much.
Well, good.
Yeah.
The video game, DC video game to comic that I liked adaptation were the Arkham comics.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've read any of those.
Yeah, if I was going to read a DC video game to comic adaptation, those are the ones I'd read.
Yep. Well, let's see. There's been a lot of speculation. Is the new Clayface movie going to be part of the new DCU? Is it going to be connected to Matt Reeves' Batman with Robert Pattinson? Well, it 100% officially came out that it is new DCU, not Matt Reeves the Batman.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So the Batman thing is going to continue to be its own thing with an Elseworlds label, but this new Clayface stuff is not part of that world. And it's funny, over with the new DCU, we've been watching Peacemaker, which has 2 episodes out at this point. There's a big rumor going around right now, leaked from someone who claims to know stuff, that before this series is over, we're going to be introduced to Batman from the new DCU. And if that's true, well, that's kind of crazy and kind of awesome. But yeah, all that to say, Clayface is connected to this new stuff, and I wonder, he's already connected Peacemaker to Superman. It'd be kind of cool if Peacemaker is then the next bridge. What if we see a glimpse of what's gonna be Clayface or what's gonna be Batman or whatever? I could totally see him doing that.
Oh, yeah. You got to keep rolling with what he's going with. So I could totally see that going that direction. I could see it going Lantern directions. There's a couple different ways he could take it from here, I think.
Yeah. And so, question, you've watched the first 2 Peacemakers.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are it's still super quality. I
Yeah.
love the music. The dimension thing, the multiverse dimension thing, I'm kind of over it. And I'm going to be really over it by the time Doomsday and all that's over with. It's not anyone's fault. It's a really cool concept and things like that. I think I'm ready for my characters to be more on Earth fighting.
I can see
You know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe bring the stakes down a little bit.
Yeah.
But overall, right now I'm giving it a solid C plus.
Okay. It's funny how these characters, and they're portrayed so goofy and so out there, but still they manage to break your heart. Your heart is
Yeah,
both broken for them and in love with them, if that makes sense.
yeah, for sure.
I do think it's interesting looking ahead at some episode titles. For the life of me, in this moment, I can't think of the title of episode 3, but it's making it sound like we might see the variant Rick Flag Jr. that Peacemaker killed back in the previous movies. We might see the variant of him from this new pocket universe, and it's going to make Chris, Peacemaker, go through some things psychologically.
Yeah, I mean he's already had two.
Yeah, and by all accounts, he didn't mean to kill himself. That's my take. The variant
Yeah,
of himself, and then he did. So that's got to mess up your head too a little bit.
yeah, especially since that family seems so much better off than his.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna learn a dark secret of that family. You know, think of how his dad was in the real universe. What if their whole family's like that in this other universe? So by the end of that season, he gets rid of them too.
Oh, I mean that could be possibly be the case. I want his neighbor, the bug man,
Uh-huh.
to become more involved because so far I think he's hysterical.
Oh man, same. Every time he comes out with, I don't know, his young or whatever to
It's,
incinerate, it's just funny.
yeah, it's so funny.
But yeah, everyone listening, if you don't already know this show is not for your children.
No.
But for you, it's hilarious. Go watch it.
Yeah, for sure. Also, we have another show that I don't think we talked about that's out, but we have not watched it or finished it,
Uh-huh.
is Eyes of Wakanda. Yeah.
Yeah, that show's awesome too. When we're both caught up with it, that's going to be a good one to talk about.
Yeah. And that's my bad. I forgot that it came out. So
Oh, that's okay.
anyway,
The good thing is you could watch the whole series for the amount of time it would take to watch maybe a movie.
yeah, for sure.
My final thing with DC this week is that it's kind of a mix of a rumor and the actor himself says he wants to do it. But it sounds like there's talks of Tyler Hoechlin, who just played Superman on the CW. He really, really, really wants to be James Gunn's Batman.
Oh.
And I think that'd be kind of cool and kind of crazy if they did that. And again, it's something he said at some point, and then the internet does what the internet does and turns it into a
Yeah.
massive rumor.
I think it's gonna be somebody we know.
Yeah,
I think it's a big secret. I have a feeling it's gonna be not a huge name, but it's gonna be a bigger name than we think it is.
to me, we've had this conversation, but the craziest, craziest thing that I think would be so cool is if it was Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
That'd be insane. That rumor was going around for a while. And then all the Cavill fanboys, which don't get me wrong, I love Cavill, but not to the extent that some of these people online are.
Yeah,
How
for
they're going to
sure.
hate on this new universe now that their guy is in it, if that came true.
Yeah.
But also, it could be some complete unknown, kind of like Superman was.
True. I doubt it though.
Yeah.
What if it's Jensen Ackles?
Oh, that'd be crazy. And he comes with a whole backing of fans. So,
What if it's somebody like that tier celebrity?
yeah.
What if it's the guy who plays the handsome salesman in Office where they wind up hiring him later? What is his name?
Um,
Is he in Justified too? Is that the other show he's in?
oh, Timothy Oliphant.
Yes.
Who,
What if it's Timothy Oliphant?
I think he'd be a cool Batman. He'd be a little older,
I sure.
but he would be cool. I love that guy and everything I've seen him in.
Me too. I'm just trying to think of guys who could be good Bruce Waynes.
Yeah, it sounds like the rumor of Alan Richson. It sounds like we could put that rumor to rest because he came out saying, "Man, that'd be a dream job," but it's not him.
Hmm.
Trying to picture who else.
Man, what if it's Carl Urban?
Oh, dang, I could see that one too because he, like you said, he'd be a good Bruce Wayne as well.
What if it's Batista?
Now, see, I could see him as a Bane.
Yeah. Oh man, him as Bane would be just outrageously cool looking,
Yeah.
and we know he can act because of Drax.
Yep. Oh, in that one movie where he was like a tooth fairy or something.
What if it's Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Oh my gosh.
What
Put all the
if?
Rudy Poos to bed.
Uh
And that's the bottom line, because Batman said so. Off the rails here.
I can't. I cannot. No, but Batista as Bane would be chef's kiss, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's see. That's it with DC. Over with Star Wars, there's a little bit of news. There was a recent convention, and my apologies for not remembering exactly which convention it was, but they did a whole Star Wars thing with a Star Wars panel. And to the congoers, they played the trailer for Mandalorian and Grogu, the movie that's coming out next year.
Shut
And
up.
yeah, and somebody, recorded it with their phone and put it out on the internet, and I watched it, and this very low quality trailer looks so freaking amazing. It had all the good stuff. And it's funny because you're watching a trailer that a crowd is watching. So every time, a different character pops up, the crowd screams, and, here's Grogu doing a little bit of the force, and the people scream. And I know that's not your favorite, but sometimes I like that.
I think it's cool if that's what you're watching it, like a crowd reaction.
Uh-huh.
I think it sucks when it's I don't know how to explain it. Maybe that's more of like a ADHD issue for me. It's where it's like things take me out of stuff fairly easily, to be honest.
Yeah.
Don't know why. It just sucks. But like big eruptions, it's like okay. You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, cool. Well, I'm watching a movie, I guess.
The other thing I have this week with Star Wars is a little bit of casting news for this new Star Wars Starfighter movie. Aaron Pierre, who is going to be Jon Stewart in our new Green Lantern series, and Amy Adams, who we know from a million things, but she was Lois Lane once. She's been all kinds of stuff. Those two are the new latest castings. Now, they didn't say their roles or anything, but it's confirmed that they're in it. So that's just kind of cool to learn a few more. We've already got what Matt Smith's the villain, and I feel like there's been a couple more, but just cast wise alone, this movie's already shaping up to be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, elsewhere out there in the pop culture universe, we know that there's this new Harry Potter series coming to HBO Max. And so far, all of the cast has been brand new people, a lot of unknowns, in fact, and a few knowns, but all new people to this franchise. Except they just announced that Warwick Davis, who played Professor Flitwick, is going to be playing Professor Flitwick again in this movie. And I think that's cool. I like that guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't have mind if they would have brought back some people if they could, but there were a lot of people who like died.
That's true. A
My
lot of them.
since a lot of them have died since then, at least a lot of key ones have. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, characters like that, it makes sense to bring back if they can.
Now, speaking of all this casting stuff with that franchise, right now there's a rumor going around that Matt Smith might be playing Voldemort in this series. And
Oh,
I think that'd be kind of cool, actually.
well, as long as he's better than he was in Morbius, we'll be good.
That could be said of anyone in Morbius.
That really made me look at Matt Smith different. I don't know if it was the material that was that bad, but
Yeah.
even visually, I was just like, that just isn't it. He's got to go bald.
Oh,
If
yeah,
he doesn't, if
definitely.
he doesn't do the bald cap, I'm gonna be upset.
Right.
That's all I gotta say.
And seeing him with flashbacks as Tom Riddle or whatever, I can see it. I can totally see it.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. One final thing with Harry Potter. It sounds like there's a rumor that HBO is developing a new Hogwarts Founders series showing how the four houses were born, Gryffindor, Slytherin,
Mm.
Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw. This is just part of the rumor. They're in talks with Henry Cavill to be Godric Gryffindor and Tom Hiddleston to be Salazar Slytherin. Yeah.
Okay.
These are all rumors, but if it's true, I could totally see those guys playing those roles. Physically, they would fit, I think.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Let's see, recently, Wednesday, season 2 began on Netflix, and there's so many shows right now that I'm watching that I haven't gotten into that one yet, but Netflix drops, all of a season or a chunk of a season all at one time, and they dropped, I guess they're calling it season 2.1 or something like that. They've already dropped half of the season, and then they're going to drop the other half, but they've been keeping a lot of stuff about the second half secret, and they just announced that Lady Gaga was casted as a regular character in the second half of season 2. So that's kind of
Oh,
interesting. Yeah. I don't really know much about what she's going to be or play or whatever, but I can see her fitting into that world.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, did you ever watch way back in the day? This is from our parents' time, but have you ever watched a lot of Knight Rider?
Yeah, I did.
I watched just enough to know that Mr. Feeney was the voice of the car.
Yeah, I watched a lot of this. My parents watched that. They watched Star Trek Next Generation. They watched what was Sequest?
Oh, nice.
Which was it Star Quest?
I remember
It
Sequest.
was Sequest was an offshoot of Stargate. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like Universal is developing a Knight Rider movie right now, and I think that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's sick.
Let's see, a lot of people are fans of the Netflix One Piece live action series, and Netflix came out saying that it is their plan to make 12 seasons of this series, which
Well,
makes
they've got
sense
like,
because the anime has, over 1,000 episodes, so they've got plenty of source material.
yeah, and it was so much fun.
Oh, yeah. The amount of episodes makes it so overwhelming for me to want to watch the anime. I've watched the pilot episode and that's it because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't commit to 1,000+ episodes right now of something. But having said that, my kids and I did watch the live action One Piece and we love it.
Yeah, it's very fun. I wish it was they did Cowboy Bebop as well as they did that.
Oh, that'd be cool. Well,
Like I don't hate the Cowboy Bebop thing. I just don't think it's that good compared to the show.
right.
The live action of One Piece is actually really fun.
It's really good. Well, my final thing here, the big hit recently is the K-pop Demon Hunters, and it sounds like Netflix has already greenlit K-pop Demon Hunters 2 because of how popular has been. Have you guys had a chance to watch that one yet?
We will be watching it either, well, most likely not this weekend because this weekend we're going out of town, but it's like on our list of like movies to watch with the kid. It's like the next one. So
Oh yeah.
soon.
And be prepared for all those bops to be stuck in your head.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, the movie was great, so I'm excited to see. Hopefully, they produce a product that isn't trying to be the first one. I feel like a lot of companies have a huge hit and they try too hard to be the first one that it loses its way and the second one's not as good. And most of
Yeah.
the time, the second one's not as good ever, but hopefully they make it its own thing so that it can be good in its own way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense.
Well, the final piece of news here, locally, you guys listening, make sure that you find your way to downtown Kansas City for the weekend, September 6th and 7th. KC Retro is back in their newer, bigger location for the year, and the Taylorverse will have a table there. I'll be there representing us, and come find me. Let's talk about nerdy stuff and vintage stuff and have a good time. But that's really it for the week. So, as for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billy Taylor.
Yeah, I'm Taylor Extra.
And come back next week, guys. Same Taylor time, same Taylor channel.
Bye.
Bye.